From the banks of Dewey Lake, it's the Dewey Pod Monster.
Welcome back. My name is John, and this is the Dewey Pod Monster Podcast. This is your weekly podcast, and it is always going to be about Charles Bronson from this point forward. We're just going to change the name to Charles Bronson Weekly. Actually, that is a podcast already, so maybe we won't do that. Anyway, we are, of course, proud members of the You Run Podcast Network. You can find all of our old episodes, all of our new episodes, and all the other amazing shows on the You Run Podcast Network at yourunpodcast.com. With me this week is, of course, the host of the Dewey Pod Monster Podcast, and his name is Sean. Sean, how are you doing this evening?
John, I'm not a nice person. I'm a mean, selfish son of a bitch. I know you want a story, but I want a killer, and what I want comes first.
You had so many quotes to choose from, and you did not take either of the two obvious ones. I appreciate that.
But I'm a mean, selfish son of a bitch.
Joining us this week is the Monster of the Midway. Is that what they call it in Chicago? I think I have the wrong city. Either way, we have Sam with us. Sam hasn't been here a while, and we're very happy to have him back. Sam, how you been? How are you doing? Welcome back.
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here for Bronson Week. I'm glad that we made it less than 2 minutes before the impersonations started coming out, because it's going to be happening.
Well, nothing wrong with that. Well, I won't keep Bronson waiting too long, but before we get going on this, I have a RoboCop expert in here, and I have a Crow expert in here, and I keep seeing a meme pop up, and I have to ask. I'm going to ask you first, Sam. Sam, is the Crow just RoboCop for goths? It's a real head scratcher.
My heart says no, but I think beat for beat, I have to go yes. It kind of is.
Sean, do you want to weigh in on this one?
If RoboCop is just the Crow?
If the Crow is RoboCop for goths.
Is RoboCop the Crow for authoritarianism? No, I don't think that. I mean, they're kind of similar, but I could see that. They both take place in Detroit.
Yep. Yeah, they do.
But the Crow takes place in Detroit?
Yes,
I didn't
it
know
does,
that.
John. Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
On Devil's Night.
I haven't watched
That's
that
right.
in a while.
On Devil's Night.
I have a different Devil's Night movie playing in the background, so regardless.
Is it Judgment Night?
I'm glad to... No, it is not. Thank God it is not Judgment Night. That movie takes place in Chicago,
That's
and I
true.
still don't like that fucking movie.
Wait, are you talking about the one with...
Sam, what's your opinion on Judgment
Are
Night?
you talking about the one with, like, Emilio Estevez? And
Yep.
I actually saw it for the first time about, like, a year ago. I was kind of drunk, but I had fun with it. I thought it was kind of fun.
Maybe that was a problem. I wasn't nearly drunk enough.
Yeah.
So
I just threw it on. I was like, what the hell is this? Emilio Estevez and I think Cuba Gooding Jr. And I was like, all right, why not? And sure,
Dennis Leary playing the heavy and throwing Jeremy Piven off the roof.
yeah, they're fighting all of that notorious Irish gang that roams Chicago.
Yeah,
something like that.
I felt very represented as in my city when I saw it.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm here for it. Well, we're not talking about Judgment Night, and we're not talking about The Crow or RoboCop this week, although I wouldn't be surprised if any of those come up again. We're talking about the movie 10 to Midnight. This is a movie that I've been waiting to talk about. Shit, I don't know. I found out about this movie actually from Sam. You were talking about it on Creatures DTF, and there's a specific scene that I know is going to come up again where you did a very good impersonation of that piqued my interest, so I immediately sought it out. Watched it, talked about it briefly on our show, and told Sean this is one we absolutely have to cover. Over the course of time, it evolved into Bronson Month, and there's no way we could talk about this movie without having Sam with us.
I couldn't imagine what I described that could have piqued your interest.
There's actually several things, but
Yeah.
there, like I said, it's going to come up. We start these with a third-party review, and this week's third-party review is a little more highbrow. I'll say who it is at the end, and this one review reads, 10 to Midnight is a scummy little sewer of a movie. It's a cesspool that sadistically fixates on the murder of women. Quote, Roger Ebert.
Classic.
Roger Ebert, not a fan, is usually a good reason to go see a movie. So, Sean, why don't you let us know what the movie 10 to Midnight is about?
All right, so for that, we go over to a website. It's a database of sorts. I think it's about movies. It's called imdb.com, and you type in the words 10 to Midnight, and it brings up a movie from 1983. It gets an R rating. It's 1 hour and 41 minutes long. It gets a 6.3 out of 10 with 10,000 ratings. And we read this little sentence or two at the top of the page. We're never quite sure if it's a storyline or the plot. But Grandma always said if they put it on top, they'd want you to read it first. So it says, an LAPD detective and his rookie partner are on the trail of a psychopathic young man who is murdering young women. I'll tell you, the first time I read this before the show, I thought it said he was like psychic or something. And I was like, oh, this guy didn't have any kind of psychic power.
That would have been a fun twist.
That would have been pretty cool. So we scroll on down to the storyline. This one comes care of Fella Shibby at yahoo.com. Thank you, Fella. He says, or she says, a young man, handsome and physically fit guy kills women who reject him because of his creepy behavior. He's always one step ahead of lawmen as he is an expert in constructing solid alibis, killing his victims while naked to minimize evidence and blood, and always uses latex gloves to hide fingerprints. But one veteran cop is hell-bent on taking him down, even if it means the wrong way. How is Babby formed?
I love how you read that like Bronson types in this movie.
Yeah, well, that's how Fella Shibby writes. So all the credit to Fella.
I did do a quick cliff notes for this before we get into the cast, and I'll just say the way I would summarize this is a mysterious serial killer strikes fear in the heart of Los Angeles with his penis knife, and Charles Bronson does not approve of his bullshit. Speaking of Charles Bronson, Sean, who's in this movie?
All right, so we have a few
that
people
we give a shit about.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you give a shit about him, but we have Charles Bronson, who plays Leo Kessler. You might know him from the Death Wish series, The Magnificent Seven, Kinjite, Forbidden Subjects, and he is the focus of our February 2026. We have Lisa Eilbacher, who plays Lori Kessler. She's from Beverly Hills Cop, Leviathan. She was Patty Hearst in The Ordeal of Patty Hearst. We have Andrew Stevens, plays Paul McCann. He is a writer, actor, director. You may know him from Massacre at Central High, The Terror Within 1 and 2, Munchie, The Skateboard Kid, and tons of actual shit. We have Jeffrey Lewis, who plays Dave Dante. We only talked about him in Double Impact and Night of the Comet, but he was also in Devil's Rejects, Only the Strong, The Lawnmower Man. He is Juliette Lewis's father. And then we have Wilford Brimley, who plays Captain Malone. You can ask him about his diabetes. We have Kelly Preston in a small role, Jenna Keogh. She was an original housewife of Beverly Hills. And we have Carmen Philippi, who was in Escape from New York, Halloween 4, Alligator 2, and The Wedding Singer, amongst several other things.
That's right. So we already mentioned how I found this movie. Sam, I'm actually kind of blaming you for bringing this movie to the show in the best way possible. Sam, how did you stumble onto 10 to Midnight?
It's 100% a Tubi movie. This was, I am a big Bronson fan of this era, the dark side of his career, not so much the
better side.
I agree, but the American classics that he was in, not really my taste. He started killing people that raped his wife. I was in. And this was one.
Technically, they weren't the people that raped his wife. They were just random people after his wife got raped.
Okay, fair enough. There are distinctions. But yeah, no, more or less, this is just a movie that I saw on Tubi and I threw it on because I was like, what the hell? Why not? I was kind of expecting more of a Death Wish style movie because that's like almost every one of his movies eventually kind of devolves into. And I will be honest with you, I was pleasantly surprised when I was like, oh, I actually like this movie. Like I was like, it's kind of a horror movie, which I don't think I've ever seen Bronson really do before. It's, it's also like almost like a legal thriller because from the get-go, he knows who the killer is. He just can't prove it. So it's kind of like this weird vibe. But yeah, I just came across it and gave it a shot, and I was enthralled by it. Now, watching it today for the show, this is now like the fourth time I've watched it.
Sounds about right, because I think I've watched it about that many times since you talked about it. And Sean, I know you said this was your first time with it. Did you have any preconceived notions with this one going into it?
I can tell you, whenever I see the two names Golan or Globus, or I see the Canon Group, I feel like it's, with a name like Smuckers, it has to be good. So when I saw that come up on the title card, I was all in. All in.
Yeah, one of my notes actually says, should get into what the movie, what it's about more, but one of my notes is specific to Canon. It basically just says, Canon Films doesn't have time for all this drama bullshit, and I'll come back around to that and explain that further in a little bit here.
They say you can't go back in time, but they clearly haven't been listening. From the neon-soaked cinema of the 80s to the high-octane drama of 90s pro wrestling, this is the deep dive your inner child has been waiting for. This is Pop Culture Reflections. More than just a review show, it's an exploration of the films, music, and icons that defined a generation. Join Justin and a lineup of special guests to rediscover the stories you love. Pop Culture Reflections. Listen to them now and all the other great shows on the You Run Podcast Network at yourunpodcast.com.
Let's start positive and we can kind of bounce around with this. And again, Sam, you're our guest and thank you for joining us. I'll let you lead off. What are as many things as you want to go on with to kick us off? What are some of the things you like about 10 to Midnight?
All of it? I'm not. It might be recency bias because I feel like that episode dropped where I discovered this probably about a year ago. It might be recency bias, but I do think that this is my favorite Charles Bronson movie. Again, it's a little different. It's not like just a shoot 'em up one. I mean, I like horror movies. That's kind of my bread and butter. And you get this oddly, like, it almost feels like it would be like treated as a real movie if Bronson wasn't in it. Like, there's this killer who's, there's a killer who we immediately know who it is, which I thought that was interesting. It's not like a hiding who the killer is. Like, you know who he is immediately. He's got the whole gimmick of like getting completely naked, which is wild, but like kind of scary. There's this naked man just chasing these women down. So I enjoy that. Then Bronson, I mean, it's more or less like a mind game where he's just trying to figure out the whole time, like, how can he prove that this killer's the killer? The killer's basically outsmarting him at every turn. And then, of course, obviously just the sheer insanity of the fact that there is a naked man running around. I don't even know what city it's in. New York, I presume?
Los Angeles. A naked man running around, and then obviously what the scene we all want to talk about. Once that happened, I was glued to the screen. I mean, truly, truly glued to the screen once that happened. And I still have it as a clip saved on my computer so I can play it whenever I want to. I have it as a gift now, so I'm right there with you.
Oh, yeah.
Sean, how about you? So,
I mean,
go ahead, Sean. Let's Sam. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's it.
Or whoever wants to talk, that's not me.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Bronson, the patter of Bronson, which number one is so easy to just start pulling off whenever you want to. He's kind of like Christopher Walken. Like there's really bad impressions like mine, and then but it's always so fun to do. And he is so infinitely. I wrote a text message to you while I watched this. I said, Bronson is infinitely quotable in this movie. He has some of the best lines in cinema, like ever. Some of my favorites. I'm going to just kind of go through some of them. I'll let the one that we all kind of want to talk about, I'll let that slide, and I'll just go over some other ones. If anyone does something like this, his knife has got to be his penis. He's addicted to morphine. When he said, I want to go to bed with him, he was doing me a favor. And then, I hate quiche, so why'd you buy it? I thought it was pie. And then, do you know who that is? I'll give you a hint. You. That one was like, he's talking to the killer, and he's like, I'll give you a hint. It's you. I laughed. I put my hand on my mouth, kicked my head back, cackled. It was like, this was a revelation. Like Sam said, I think it's genius. It's scary, but it's also very smart that they have the killer perform his killing in the nude. Like, number one, he's going to leave very few evidentiary pieces of material behind. I mean, I guess we're pre-DNA, right? So if they got a hair sample, what are they going to do? Look at the hair and be like, it's the same color. Well, I don't know what they're going to do with this. But it's just a really brilliant way to have this killer act. I think that I didn't mention him in the cast, but Gene Davis plays the killer, Warren Stacy, and he plays this role to be the creepiest killer that I think I have seen ever. He's not really been in anything else to note. That's why I didn't bring him up, but he does a fantastic job of being an unsettling creep. And I think his other most noteworthy performance was Frankensteinfield, in Stay Tuned, where I think he's supposed to play like a cross between Frankenstein's monster, and Jerry Seinfeld. I'm just guessing based on the name. And I don't know. The other thing that I'll mention, I'll let John talk.
We should really cover Stay Tuned at some point.
We should.
I
There's so many things
quite a bit
to talk about. The other thing is that Kessler and his partner McCann gets a tip that the first girl that gets murdered kept a diary. And it's supposed to have like, she's kept these notes of like who her dates were and what they did. It's very in detail. And at the funeral, the killer's there because he knows the girl. And he overhears the girl's father say, she kept this diary. It was in her room, blah, 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 blah. So the killer goes to the apartment where she stayed to get into the apartment, break in and get this diary. And there's a box, and it's just a white box with like red, I don't know, cursive writing or something. It says my diary. You couldn't make it any like you couldn't write this stuff. Of course it's empty, which is hilarious, but there's just so many little pieces around this movie that it's fun to watch. It's enjoyable. It is a bit of a thriller. Like Sam said, it's kind of got those horror elements to it. Like Sam said, I think this is the only movie that I can think of. Like I haven't seen a ton of Bronson movies, but I don't think he's done anything this close to horror, at least that I know of.
To my knowledge, he hasn't done anything this close to horror, and I believe this is the only movie that comes. If you Google Bronson and horror, which I've done a couple times for numerous reasons, this is the only thing that really comes out. Bronson is by far like the main attraction of this movie, but I think one of the things they do extremely well is developing the Warren Stacy character. They do such a good job of establishing. We get to watch this guy establish his alibi multiple times throughout this, go do his like naked murder boner. Well, I guess it's not a murder boner, his like knife penis scene over and over again. I feel like it was a missed opportunity that they didn't at least give him some shoes, because how great of a product placement would it be if he was just like huffing it through like LA in some like very recognizable like Jordan. Well, it's LA gear, so not Jordan. So like, yeah, it's LA gear or some Adidas Sambas or just something that you could be like, man, these look really good when you're just like dick running them throughout the city. I kind of dig that. And he would have gotten through a couple doors a little bit quicker if he had shoes on and left, less evidence, but I digress. They do make this character, or this, for a 1983 canon film, like for what this movie is, they do a really good job kind of going into those weird borderline slasher elements with this movie, where seeing it from the opposite angle, where we're following, this movie really is following the killer more than it's following Bronson. Bronson's the guy playing catch up throughout this movie. It's almost like Bronson is the Michael Myers to the Loomis that we're following around in this. Like, it's just totally flipped on it. And I think it plays off really well.
Yeah, I would agree. I think as to how Sean said, I think I was surprised at like how good I would be curious to read the script, like, because it's pretty good actually, like overall, like as far as like the killer and how he's able to avoid the police, like I buy all of it. Like, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to guess most people listening to this probably hasn't seen this movie, but like the opening scene
is a damn shame.
And you 100% should see this movie. But like the opening scene, like, he basically goes into a movie theater, intentionally grosses out these like two teenage girls, runs to the bathroom, jumps out the window butt naked, runs across the street to a park, murders some people, comes back, and then keeps annoying the girls. So that way when the cops come and ask, he's like, no, go talk to those two girls. Like, and they're of course like, no, he was fucking in the theater annoying me all night. And I'm like, that's kind of genius actually. So I do think that like as goofy and fun as old Menachem movies can be, this one actually has some intelligence to it.
I think they still were making this movie when Cannon and Golan Globus still had money to spend. Like they were like willing to spend the money. So maybe that's why it came out so well, because they were willing to still make movies and they weren't just cranking out B-movie.
Well,
crap.
apparently they greenlit this movie before they even had a script or a concept. Like they got Bronson and said, we have Bronson, and then this happened, which is fair.
This is their bankable star.
And then, of course,
Charles Bronson.
Yeah. Well, by canon numbers anyway.
Yeah.
So
it's no Superman 3. Or 4, is it 4?
Quest for Peace.
I think it was 3. either way. And then there's the elephant in the room that we've been kind of dancing around. We might as well get to it now. This has hands down the best interrogation scene throughout the history of cinema in this. Bronson finds out who the killer is like instantly because he's Charles Bronson, Leo Kessler. I don't really, he's Charles Bronson. We don't need to call him by his character name in any movie. And, you know, he goes and pokes around his bathroom and manages to steal this like fleshlight that's hooked up to like a like power drill or something like that. I'm not exact. It looks like a cement mixer with like a very beat up pocket pussy on it.
It looks like a really big hairdryer.
So
yeah, with a pocket pussy on it.
It's clear. I want to know if that is that what pocket pussies looked like in the 80s?
Big pockets.
That is.
It must have been because he gets it out of the bathroom, like somehow unbeknownst to anyone else in the apartment when they're visiting this guy for the first time.
I don't know why, but maybe just because of my naivety, I was like, you know, that really, for whatever reason, I feel like that wasn't a thing that I saw in like referenced in movies till like maybe the 90s or like early 2000s. So I was like, I just thought they didn't exist. And then Bronson pulls this blender with like with like a beat up hot dog like on top of it.
The only thing that would have made it better is if it had like a lawnmower pull start and he you know just turned it on and start as it was going. But
it would have been so good if he turned it on. I just wanted to see it in action.
Oh yeah, and he gets close. Like they're interrogating this guy and he's basically being the hard ass cop routine until he produces this like sex toy with the guy and he's like, "What's that for?" "That's for jacking off, isn't it?" As he practically smacks him in the face with it. And that scene alone, like the rest of the movie could literally just be them driving around in cop cars, not doing anything fun. That scene alone would make me love this movie.
"What's the matter, Warren? Cat got your tongue? It's for jacking off." I want to add, like, the thing about this movie too that makes it kind of unique is about an hour and 10 minutes in or so, maybe not unique, that might be a strong word, but about an hour and 10 minutes in, there's this amazing heel turn where, you know, you've mentioned, John, that a lot of the movie is Bronson chasing the killer, and then it becomes the killer chasing Bronson, and then he flips it, he like double I don't know, heel turns it to be like, nope, it's back. The original formula's back. Now we're chasing the killer again and harassing him and doing all this other stuff. It's one of the craziest things that I've seen in a while, especially like, you know, like I said, with a name like Smucker's, it has to be good. I don't expect this level of quality out of Canon or Golan Globus. I mean, I expect a certain amount of quality. I expect that I'm going to have a good time. I feel like
quality is the wrong word.
Yeah, I expect I think
it's a different flavor of quality.
Like kitschiness or something. Some kind of...
competency? Like,
yeah.
It's a competent
Yeah, it's a little bit
film.
too competent for its own good in a way, but that's not an insult by any means. It's just like, this is such a weird feel from this production house. And I have to say, another thing, like I said, I cackled at another term. Like at the end of this movie, the actual end, which I'm not going to give away, was hilarious to me. Like I did not see that coming. I mean, I kind of did when it was coming, but there was just an absolution to it all, and I was like, oh, maybe they're making room for 12 to midnight here.
I'm going to go ahead and ruin the end.
Oh, John,
to an extent.
How dare you?
Well, we're going to get into spoiler talk anyway. If we haven't already. You haven't figured out yet, we're probably going to tell you to watch this movie by the end of this chat that we're having here. But, you know, they get to the end of this movie. They're chasing down the bad guy. It comes to a head, quite literally. And, you know, Bronson delivers another great one-liner, pops off at the end. And I'm trying to dance around it without totally spoiling it. I guess I'll put it out there. Supposedly you can see Bronson in handcuffs as they're pulling the camera away with this like helicopter angle. I never saw that in any time that I've viewed it. Did either of you guys see this? Or because I always thought it was just like not quite a still frame, but might as well be a still frame. It's just like a panning out shot and they don't really do anything else. But leading up to this, kind of listening to different stuff today, I was like, multiple people said like, yeah, you could see him sitting there in handcuffs. I'm like, I didn't see that at all.
So I wanted, because I laughed so much the first time I watched What Happens, I rewound it and watched it again and laughed again.
I love that you're laughing at the most like intense part of this movie.
So I'm just going to totally come out and say what happens. At the end of the movie, Bronson puts a bullet in the killer's head, and then it instantly goes to a scene where there's all these cops pull up and Bronson shoots the guy, and Bronson is he's been fired from the police force at this point because he's been caught planting evidence. And
we're going to talk about that in a second too.
He takes a shot and the cops are all there. And then it cuts to this like helicopter scene or this really high crane shot or something. And it's got McCann, who's his partner, is kind of like standing. Bronson's at an angle and McCann's standing next to him at a kind of a, I don't know, like a 45-degree angle. And then there's the cops there, and that's it. It's like McCann wasn't in the shot, like in the actual, director's view or the shot of the film, how the shot is staged. He's not there. It flips to this different crane shot and he's there. So I think there was something that they just kind of edited out or they didn't film or something, but they had to have an ending of the movie that wasn't just Bronson firing the shot and the screen goes black after the killer gets a bullet in his head. So no, I don't think there is any shot of him in actual handcuffs, but it's like implied now that there are people around him.
I will say, yeah, I've seen it now. I finished it mere 20 minutes before we started recording, and I didn't see it. But actually, and maybe again, just me being naive, it would never even crossed my mind that he was going to go to jail for shooting this guy.
Yeah, I never thought that either.
Again, we haven't really painted the picture of what's this end scene is. They're basically like on a bridge or something. The guy has killed 3 women this night alone. So he's completely naked, covered in blood, and he was threatening this ex-cop's daughter. Yeah. So, and then like I don't know if there's a whole speech earlier in the movie that the dude's lawyer is like, hey, we're going to tell you, these are the things you're going to say. You're going to say that you have a split personality, that you can't control yourself, blah, 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 blah. And it's exactly what the killer says at the end to Bronson. And Bronson realizes he's going to get off on this before he shoots him.
No, you're not.
Yeah. So he shoots him and kills him. But my thought on it was, it's 1983. This guy's covered in blood and naked and trying to hurt this.
It's also the LAPD.
Yeah, the LAPD, 1983. There's a scared white woman there. I'm like, it never even crossed my mind that Bronson was going to jail. If anything, I thought he was going to get reinstated. I don't know.
You're the chief.
You actually got a promotion.
So the other, I guess, plot twist in this movie, roughly about midway through, Bronson, again, pre-DNA, Bronson decides to go into the crime lab and plant DNA evidence on some of the killer's clothes. So this might be pivoting into whatever negatives we have, but I felt like that was kind of a weak decision on his point, not because he was doing something illegal, but it just felt like out of place for this movie to try to force it into a courtroom and whatnot. I feel like, I don't know, Charles Bronson in any movie, in any walk of life, never seemed like the cop to resort to DNA evidence to get a conviction. It seemed like just moving right to shooting him would have been the more likely conclusion.
I mean, yeah, I agree, but I think that's kind of why I dig it a little bit. It's not the typical Bronson movie, and I think what they're trying, because like you said, in the opening interrogation scene, we've got him basically trying to beat the shit out of this 20-year-old, 18, I don't even know how old this kid's supposed to be, but he's already basically trying to slap him in the face with a pocket pussy, and
as you do.
So I think you get your Bronson that you want to see there, and then you get I almost feel if you didn't cast Bronson, the movie wouldn't be good. But if you didn't cast Bronson, you might be like, wow, this is kind of a smart thriller, a smart, this cop's got to go the extra mile to get the guy, But yeah, since it's Bronson, you're why isn't he just punching this guy in the fucking face? With his 75-year-old hands.
He's 75 with the body of a 25-year-old in this movie. It's okay.
I feel like he came out of the womb 75. He's just one of those guys that even when I watch The Great Escape, I'm like, yeah, you're 50, right?
I do like that he has a foot chase in this movie at the end of it. So as watching Charles Bronson run up a street is pretty entertaining.
Yeah, and catching him. He catches up to the 20-year-old karate athlete or whatever he says earlier in the movie.
I don't want to get too pedantic, but I feel like they were running. Does it feel like they were running towards each other? Like he wasn't actually chasing them, but he was coming from a different direction because he catches up and then they're face to face.
That's the only way I can. Yeah. That's the only way I can explain how he catches up to him because you see Stacy, bad guy, like knife penis, go out the fire escape and start running away, and then Bronson goes down the stairs and out the front door like a not murderer. And you don't really see what direction he goes off in. So it's kind of played in the movie like they're trying to like make you think that he's just following them. But I think more so it's the other way around. He went another way and is just catching up.
He's so fast, he ran around the earth to meet them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Flat-footed in dress shoes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mentioned it in Death Wish.
Do you guys have any?
Bronson is just he's always the same guy. He just has more or less gray hair. That's the only way you can tell. Yeah, that he's younger or older. Oh, he has all black hair. Oh, okay, must be young.
Do you think Bronson thought this movie was kind of dirty? Like I just because I feel like he never goes. Granted, he's well known for like movies about rape and murder, but like
his legacy.
But like this one, like, and I will give credit, Sean. Like I'm kind of surprised to hear that the only other role this guy had is like Frankensteinfeld or whatever. Like he was really good in it, but like there's also like some crazy lines of dialogue when he's like basically prank calling the house and he's like, I'm gonna eat your pussy, blah, blah, blah. Like it's fucking nuts.
Well, I heard he was also kind of a creep on set. Like he supposedly, and again, I didn't, it's all secondhand knowledge. So supposedly like because he had to do so much of the movie nude, like the only way he would do it and feel comfortable doing it was to just make everyone stare at him naked. So he would basically confront people and make them stare at his dong. And apparently that didn't go over well for some of the cast.
Charles Bronson slapped it down. Get that out of my face. It's for jacking off.
See, that's the outtake that we need. That's the outtake that we need.
Oh, I wish there was like a behind the scenes like making of for this movie. Oh, it'd be so good.
His making of documentary.
Tell him to get his penis away from me. Oh, God.
Put it away, Stacy.
Put it away or you're going to lose it.
How about you guys? Is there anything that you didn't like or anything negatives on this one?
I mean, I think in repeat viewings, I kind of thought that his partner would have more of a role other than, like, I think fucking his daughter. I don't really understand what his character is totally there for in the grand scheme of things, other than to like go to that party and like watch those two people fucking on a laundry machine.
It's a pretty good scene though.
Well, you know, we've all been in those parties where, and if you notice, she has her pants on too. So I don't know what kind of sex they were having, but I don't think it was the right kind of sex.
It's canon sex, baby.
Just boobs out, jeans on. That's how we're doing it. But I would say his character
could be worse.
Yeah, that's fair. But I would say his character would be the only thing that I don't even dislike his character, but it truly doesn't serve that much of a purpose other than to date his daughter.
Well, I think the other part is to be the plot point to get the killer off. That came out wrong. To get him off the charges. Because, you know, if McCann if he perjures himself, if he's not like trying to be the young good cop, then the movie ends after an hour and 10 minutes. So I think he's just kind of like the thing to be there to be like, okay, we got to keep this movie going. But yeah, other than that, he's the inexperienced young cop who leaves his chewing gum at the crime scene, like at the beginning of the movie. Like, stupid ass, you're a young cop, but you're not like a rookie. You know not to contaminate the crime scene, or else like that's going to be.
I feel like anybody who's watched an episode of CSI knows, like, maybe I shouldn't spit my gum right here next to the body. Like,
shit. They didn't have DNA.
I kind of think that's like policing 101.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of, but
yeah.
What do I know? For me, like, the only thing I would say, this is more of a nitpick than a complaint, really, is having watched this a couple times now, I find it to be a little like slow pacing wise at times. Basically, when Bronson's not on screen or someone's not getting murdered in this movie, I tend to kind of drift away and like pay attention to other things. whenever they're doing like non-interrogation police procedural or like anything with the boyfriend / partner, aside from when he's busting in the laundry room, it's not bad, but it's also not enough to like really hold my attention after seeing it a few times.
I got a couple dislikes. I will counterpoint. This movie is riveting, so I don't know what I don't know what you're talking about. I was glued to the screen. Every time anybody was on screen, I was glued to it. I got 3 things that are just really minor nitpicks. Number 1, now I wish the killer was psychic, because I was watching the movie. I'm like, man, the guy, when does he have the psychic powers? This is crazy. Like, what the hell happens? The Spanish accent when he calls in is pretty rough, but funny. Jeffrey Lewis's wig, not good. Like, distractingly bad. And then
I think it's the same wig he had on in that Van Damme movie.
no, Double Impact. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So the one complaint that I have is like the killer gets off of God damn it. He gets away from the charges. They let him off the court cases. They dismiss it because they don't have enough evidence because the blood it's been planted on his clothes. He gets off the hook, and I guess killer gonna do what killer does, and he just goes right back to it. The same method, the same people. He doesn't like, oh man, I'm gonna learn my lesson. I'm gonna be the straight and narrow, or at least go after different victims. He goes after the same exact people. And then the other thing is that near the end, I couldn't believe there wasn't more of an effort by some of the girls to actually defend themselves. There's like 4 girls in that apartment, and there's one guy. I mean, he's naked and he's got a frying pan or whatever he's got, like a knife or whatever it is.
Yeah, knife.
Yeah. You couldn't.
She had a frying pan.
Yeah, that's what it was. She had the frying pan. Couldn't team up, like gang up on him and stop this guy or do something to him.
Knives.
Had a frying pan. Have you ever seen Rapunzel? Have you ever seen Tangled? That frying pan, man, that's a great weapon. And my question is, like, where did the helicopter come from, number 1? Like, all of a sudden, I know he calls, Kessler, this is Kessler, send him to such and such address. Meet me here, McCann. And they send a helicopter, and then the helicopter's, like, it's there, it's following them for, like, 10 seconds, and then it's gone. I guess it's there to take the shot of Bronson with the gun and McCann standing next to him at the very end of the shot. But it's like, number 1, why did you send a helicopter? You don't just shine the light on the people you're following and then just disappears. I guess they had to spend the $4.5 million or whatever the budget was. But those are just such minor complaints for me. Like, I don't really have anything glaring other than that one thing of like, yo, you just got your charges dismissed. I'm trying to not to say you got off. You got your charges dismissed, and then you go right back to it. Like, what a fucking idiot. He's been so smart the rest of the time, covering his tracks, doing the thing at the movie theater where he's harassing the girls, making ways that he has alibis for all the things that he's being accused of, but then he just does this one stupid thing and goes right back to it.
I will say, to John's point, like saying like the pacing, I will say like I was doing the math, like, am I going to have time to watch this in between getting off work and starting here? And I like looked it up and I was like, oh, hour 50. I was like, I do not remember this movie being an hour and 50 minutes. And I was like, I felt it was closer to 88. That being said, it flew by for me because I think there's enough craziness going on between, fucking fucked up fleshlights and naked men running around and weird sex stuff and crazy lines. And then just Bronson being Bronson that right when you start to be like, well, maybe I'm going to drift out, something crazy is coming and it peaks, it pulls you back in. I can't recommend it enough. I think it's a true gem that I think a lot of people just don't know about.
Not enough people have been touched by Bronson. It's just what it is. The other thing I noted too, and I really noticed it this time, like this guy, the killer has to be inspired by Ted Bundy, right? Like he kind of looks like Ted Bundy. He drives a VW Beetle like Bundy, and he ends the movie by going, I guess it's not a dorm room, but because they're nurses or something, but it's essentially a dorm room, tries to kill everyone, and it ends differently than Bundy's end did, clearly. But I didn't see anything that says it like directly either way, but that's got to be what they're pulling from, like for an inspiration with this guy, I would think, right?
It wasn't that much before this movie that all that stuff happened. I mean, years, but I could see, I didn't put 2 and 2 together, but now that you mentioned it.
I think
I don't know when the Florida thing happened for Bundy. That might have been the 80s, or did he get arrested in the
I feel like
Anyway.
you're pretty right there. Although, John, while you're, I think, looking that up, I will say, yeah, I didn't even think about it. But yeah, I did question. I'm like, what is this nurses college that we're at? Like, they're already nurses, yet they're in some sort of dormitory where they all live together and have like sexy pillow fights. Not really sure what this job is, but
Where do
I kind of
sign?
want it.
yeah, I mean, I want to go to school, but like, it just seems crazy that they're already like they clearly are working in the field and also in school. It's very strange.
They all have to go to bed at the same time
And yes,
too. That sucks.
Well,
They're all in the
do
same
they
room.
all get the same bed?
No,
they just all push
there's
them
4
together,
beds
you know, it's
all in
one
that
bed.
one room.
Yeah, you push them all together, then it's one big bed.
There you
So
go.
problem solved. Bundy was arrested in 78 the final time. So yeah, it would have been after this. So would kind of check out as far as it being a
Inspiration or something,
I guess.
yeah.
But
I think you're right.
yeah.
I mean, that
again,
tracks.
I felt like he definitely looked enough like him, and then you throw the car in and the last act. I'm like, God, that's a lot of Bundyisms for someone who they're not saying is like a Ted Bundy knockoff so directly. So I don't know if Bundy did karate or anything like that, though. So I don't
Everybody in
remember
the
hearing
80s
that.
did karate, John.
Well, that's true, but Bundy did. Well, he lived in the 80s, but he didn't make it to the 80s to do karate, I guess.
Yeah, the
Maybe he
Jailhouse
learned it in
Dojo.
prison. I don't know.
Yeah.
See, that's a movie that we need to see. Jailhouse Dojo. So,
With Robert
starring
Brandy.
Charles Bronson and him too. Have them both in there. That'd be great.
You got to
I mean-
imagine that guy was like his stunt double or something, right?
I would hope so.
I think we haven't even explained who he is. That's for your another episode of you
Yeah.
guys.
That's for later. Robert Bronzy. Look him
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Just have
So-
fun.
I don't have a ton left to add to it. Do you guys have anything you want to add before we start wrapping up here? Anything we missed? Anything that needs to be said? Anything Bronson quotes that need to be fired off?
I know something that needs to be said.
Then you're in for a big treat, bro. Because it's hot dog time.
Sam, you're our guest. Please lead us off. Give us your thoughts on 10 to Midnight. You can rank it however you want, hot dogs or not. But let us know your thoughts on this Canon Films production.
I love this movie. Unabashedly. I mean, I've been on here for some bad movies like No Holds Barred. I mean, I love that movie,
dare
but
you.
like in a totally different way.
I
But
thought you were on my team for No Holds Barred.
I mean, I love it and I own it. Like, I think possibly multiple copies. But like, I will genuinely say that, like, while, you know, Bronson in the 80s isn't necessarily thought of for good movies, I genuinely think this movie is actually pretty good. It's better than it should be and totally different than anything I've ever seen of his. Also wildly hilarious. I think if you're looking for a good time and you want to laugh and have some fun and just maybe just throw something on that's just a little bit different, I think you could not go wrong with 10 to Midnight. I've recommended it to so many people and not one person has told me that I did wrong. So I'm giving this 5 hot dogs out of 5 hot dogs. And you know what? One extra one for that dong that was running around New York City during the filming of this. 6 floppy
Love it.
hot dogs.
Whose hot dog is this, huh? Is it yours?
You want to go, Sean, or you want me to go?
I'll go. I guess I'll go. I just have to say I really enjoyed it, from the strategic hiding of the killer's dong to the whole back and forth cat and mouse, the old switcheroo after the first hour to the double switcheroo near the end of the film. Bronson's still wooden, but I think that's part of his charm. It's a hilarious performance. There's so many quotable lines from this movie, and I think we've named a few so far between all of us. Gene Davis, the actor who plays Warren Stacy, is amazingly creepy. The whole thing just really keeps you on your toes the whole time. I was, like I said, I was not lying. I was riveted, just glued to the screen to watch this. There's no way I could give 10 to Midnight anything but a full hot dog.
Utah, give me 2.
Hot dogs.
I'm on the same boat with everyone here. This is a full hot dog. I like the way this movie blends genres really well, and interestingly, it doesn't feel like you're losing out on anything on the horror side of it or on the action side of it or even on the comedy side of it, if that's how you want to look at it. IMDb does have this listed as a dark comedy first, which I thought was interesting. Bronson's amazing in it. Much like Sam, this is probably of the Bronson movies I've seen, this is my favorite of them. He's like not quite the asshole that he is in some, like, he doesn't go as hard as he does in, like, say, Death Wish 3, which we kind of started to, apparently we're going to have to cover that because we're talking about it a lot. But he does I don't know, there's something about him that he's really likable in this, even though he's a complete asshole through the whole movie. And the killer's great. They do a really good job fleshing him out. This movie, if you like thrillers, horror movies, or Charles Bronson, anything, there's absolutely no reason you shouldn't watch this. And it's got Wilford Brimley at the age of like 20, looking like he's 900 years old also. So I completely agree. Full hot dogs all around, floppy and everything. So I think that's all we got on this one. We're going to start wrapping up. Sam, the floor is yours. Please, anything you want to promote, anything you want to plug. I know you have a very intense schedule coming up, so let us know what you got going on, and we'll start wrapping stuff up here.
I hope it's an intense schedule. If you guys want to check us out, you can check out my Instagram page, To Be or Not To Be Movies. That's where I post most of my stuff. But supposedly, we're going to be coming back full-time with the Screen Talk podcast. So just like Screen Talk Pod, we talk about more serious movies, I would say, usually. So if you want to check that out, but just follow me on Instagram. That'd be the coolest thing.
And for us, of course, you can find us on Instagram as well. We're at Dewey Pod Monster. Sam will be tagged in everything related to this episode, so we'll make it easy to find them. We're on we're at Dewey Pod Monster on pretty much all the social media outlets, with the exception of Blue Sky, where we are at Crap.Town. February 19th is coming up pretty quickly, and we're going to be at Batch Brewing doing our monthly Frankensteins. This month is going to be Sean's favorite month ever, because we're going to be showing the movie RoboCop. So please come out, have a beer with us, have a hot dog, watch RoboCop. It's going to be a blast. Maybe we'll all go take a little field trip over to the newly erected RoboCop statue in Eastern Market and have a little photo op. I don't know. Probably not. You can find all of our stuff at crap.town. That's our site. If there's anything that we haven't covered, whether it be a Bronson movie or otherwise, there's an option for feedback on there. And of course, please do head over to yourunpodcast.com, where you can find all of our old episodes and all the other great shows on the You Run Podcast Network at yourunpodcast.com. I think I just said that twice, but Sean, what am I forgetting?
Dead or alive, you're going to Batch. I would say that probably anything that we talk about on the show, most of the things that we talk about on the show, some of the things that we talk about on the show, one or two things that we talk about on the show will be in the show notes. We try to make things in the show notes free. Sam, let me ask you a question. Do you know of any other show in the galaxy, in the universe, in the hereafter, that has so many things in their show notes that can be watched by the audience for free?
No, I could not name a singular show that does that, actually.
We try to do as much as we can. I'd say about 90% of the things are free. If it's not free, though, it'll be at Amazon, probably, maybe, more than likely. If it's a not free thing on Amazon, it'll have Amazon brackets after the title of the thing we're talking about. If you go to Amazon, you click that link, that's an affiliate link. Anything you buy after you click that link doesn't have to be the thing you click the link for. Anything you buy, a small portion of that money comes to us, and that helps us do stuff, I guess. It helps us run this podcast. We don't make enough money to run this podcast on those affiliate links, so get clicking. Other than that, if you want to follow me, I am on Blue Sky exclusively. I am at internalbleeding.crap.town. I post clips of things, sometimes funny. I think it's always funny, but you might not think. Your mileage may vary. Let's put it that way. You can find me there. That's where I'll be. John, back to you.
Get clicking, Butthorns. We'll see you next week. Cheers.
Bird season's over, Butthorn. Blah, blah, blah.